Hey guys. Okay, so I've ummed and ahed about whether I want to record on this week's video topic. See, we're going to talk about how to put the best case forward or best foot forward in terms of arguing to get a street tree removed. And I do not want to be seen to be endorsing the removal of street trees. I personally love street trees. I think they have a real amenity value when they add value to a street. They obviously have health benefits, etc., etc. However, I have decided that I am going to talk on this video topic for three key reasons. First and foremost, I'm a realist. I understand at the end of the day, sometimes those trees just have to go. They have to go to be able to allow you to get some sort of parking on site or to improve safety sightlines, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I understand sometimes the benefits outweigh the negatives. Also, basically, I think the world would be a very boring place. It would be a very bland place if everyone did exactly what I thought was a great outcome. I often say to people, I love a character house. Give me a pre-47 house or even a pre-1911 house. If I get plans for those where people are restoring the character and adding character, I go gaga. However, if everyone did that to every pre-47 house across the city, it would be very cookie cutter, or it'd be like North Lakes on steroids. We would lose the uniqueness these houses have, and we would live in a very, like I said, bland and boring sort of environment. So I actually encourage people to have differences of opinion and to like different things, because it creates a very diverse and beautiful place that we live in, basically. Now, last but not least, I actually think, kind of hope, that by talking about this topic in detail, by giving people all the information, it might have the opposite effect. So by explaining why council wants to retain these trees, people might turn around and go, that's actually a good reason. Yeah, I kind of agree. Okay, we can keep it. Or if I talk through the different hurdles or hoops you have to jump through to be able to get a street tree removed, they might just go, can't be bothered, too hard basket, and give up. Yeah, we'll see. So, what are the arguments? Well, first and foremost, you need to understand why council wants to retain these trees. Now, I don't know what the current figure is, but last time I checked, they were trying to aim for a 40% green space goal. So the simple way that I can explain that super simple way is if you're in space looking down on Brisbane, they want to see 40% of the land area covered in green, 60% in more hard stand sort of stuff. Now, obviously, if council is going to support removing existing, mature, established street trees, they're going to be taking themselves further away from that goal rather than closer towards the goal. So it makes no sense. Why would they take themselves down that path? More importantly, and this came up in an example earlier this week, which is obviously what led to this video, they are concerned about neighbour complaints. So, and I was talking to this client earlier this week in New Farm, and she goes, look, and I loved her honesty here, look, if it was anyone else removing a street tree, I'd be straight on the phone to council complaining about what they were doing. But in my situation, I need it for parking, etc., etc. So yeah, that is exactly what council is worried about. They know that they get a lot of complaints from people about the loss of street trees, and so they want to protect themselves from those unnecessary complaints. Which leads me to the first thing you need to do. Firstly, you need to consult with your neighbours. So basically get out, door knock, offer up some brownies, do what you got to do, and see if you can get people on side. Get them to sign a letter or some sort of form or something confirming that they will not object to the removal of that street tree. Now, that's not going to give council 100% assurance that they're not going to get complaints, but it does take a massive step in the right direction. If you want to take it one step further, talk to the local councillor. See if you can get the local councillor to support removing that street for whatever reason. That would definitely take you a step forward. Now, the other point I want to make in terms of understanding where council's coming from, people always say to me, but I will remove that tree and I will let them replant, or I will replant 5 trees, 10 trees, whatever it is. You need to understand that these replacement trees just do not survive. They have such a low or limited survival rate. I don't know what the percentage is, but let's just for argument's sake say 10%. So 10% of these replacement trees survive to maturity. Number one, cars hit them. Number two, they get hit with lawnmowers, drunks knock them over, they don't get enough water, whatever reason, these trees do not survive. Also, where do you plant these trees? If you want this street tree removed, no one else is going to want a street tree in front of them. It's like bus stops. Everyone loves them. Everyone needs to use them. No one wants them in front of their property. So council's kind of facing this awkward dilemma of, where do we put these replacement trees? So you can't go and sit there and just go, we'll replace them with more. It doesn't work that way. It's not that easy. So where do we go from here? First thing you need to look at is safety arguments. So again, put yourself in council's shoes. They have a responsibility to maintain and provide safe access ways, vehicle ways, all that sort of stuff for the public. So if you can look at a tree and go, hold on a sec, these roots are lifting up the pavement. It's creating a trip hazard for people. That's going to be an alarm bell for council. Or, as was the case with this new farm job earlier this week, the client said to me, it's dropping all these berries, and as the berries hit the ground, people step on them, they squish them, and they go sliding, slipping and sliding. Obviously, slip hazards, concern for council. Have you got any low-hanging branches which are going to be potentially hit by trucks, like refuse trucks and all that sort of stuff? Do you have the trees growing over the footpath constantly, forcing pedestrians to take an alternate pathway? So a pedestrian is forced to step down onto the road into the path of oncoming cars, or off onto the grass into an area where it's kind of unstable and they're likely to fall. Or, as was the case, I had this in Paddington recently, the client was able to argue that the existing driveway location was really, really unsafe. So it was really steep and they basically had to hit the accelerator really hard to get up out of the driveway, and they basically came at pedestrians at speed. The sight lines were really reduced and it was onto a major road. The alternate location, the only alternate location, happened to be where this tree was. So we could argue that basically by relocating that tree, we were improving pedestrian and vehicle safety, etc., etc. So yeah, basically put yourself in council's shoes and go, okay, is there a way that we can argue that this existing tree, this existing arrangement is creating a safety issue for council? Next, health. So, okay, when you look at that tree, has it had the branches knocked off on repeat? Is it starting to look really bashed up and damaged and therefore not really going to survive in the long term? Is it riddled with termites? I literally had that one time. Is it covered in fungi? Is it, I don't know, what's going on? Can you look at this tree and go, yeah, it's basically on its way out. It's not going to survive in the long term. Obviously, like I said before, 5 or 10 trees with a 10% chance of success isn't great, but if you're looking at one tree currently which is going to die off in the next year, suddenly that 10% success rate doesn't look so bad. Next, consider longevity. So get an arboriculturalist out and ask them, does this tree, and the chance of being able to argue this is super, super slim, but does this tree have a limited lifespan? Is it the type of tree that's probably going to die off in a couple of years? So if that's the case, then again, 5 or 10 trees with a 10% chance of success, it's going to look better to council. So they're the key arguments or key ways that you can push to have a tree removed. If you can't argue for any of those things, then I would encourage you to get an arboriculturalist out on site to see if there's a way that you can try and get closer to that tree. So the standard tick box requirement the council looks for is a 2-metre setback. So you need 2 metre separation from the trunk of the tree to the driveway or the crossover. Now, if you work with an arboriculturalist, you may be able to get closer. They may turn around and go, well, actually, this is a really hardy species of tree. It can handle a greater level or amount of incursion. Or this tree has a really small root ball and therefore the TPZ or tree protection zone on this actual tree is a lot smaller, which means you can get a lot closer. Or they might be able to come up with an argument that says, okay, if you use permeable pavers, so pavers that actually allow you to get water through to the tree roots, and if you use hand digging techniques or whatever it is, you may be able to again get closer. So yeah, if you can't find a way to remove the tree, look at a way to see if you can get closer to the tree. Okay, I think that covers off everything I want to talk about today. A long-winded video, but we got there. As I always say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got 3. Number 1, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site-specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number 2, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number 3, what was my number 3? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.